baby trees.
Bonsai. Bonsai.
Bonsai. Bonsai.
Close enough.
The Black Pondo Podcast.
Bonsai. Bonsai.
Bonsai.
Bonsai. Bonsai.
Bonsai.
Yeah.
The Black Pondo Podcast.
Well, cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks, Ian, for coming.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Podcast.
Thanks for doing this with me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Always great
fun.
hanging out with you and chatting with you and working on trees with you. I really, really appreciate you and appreciate everything that we've done the last couple days.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's fun. It's people are gonna be. We don't want to spoil it, but I think people are gonna be really, really excited about what you're coming up with.
What we're coming up.
I don't know.
Thank you.
Your vision. I'm just helping.
I'm excited. I'm really excited for the next PVE.
Mm.
It was
Yeah, me
cool.
too.
I was listening in on, we won't do any spoilies here right now,
Yeah.
but I'm excited to learn more details about the PVE. And it sounds like Jonas has a lot of things figured out. Jonas, Eric, and Andrew.
Yeah. It sounds like they're gonna announce something soon, or put something on their website. I know on the website they have the official dates and location, but not much more information. But I think they're gonna update it pretty soon with a lot of new info.
Yeah,
So yeah, I look forward to it. I think it's gonna be great,
awesome.
just like the previous two, and then probably even better.
Nice. So tell me what we're sipping on. I don't know anything.
Yeah, put that bottle away. What we're drinking this time is cognac. Cognac is essentially it's an alcohol made out of grapes, and for it to be called cognac, it has to come out from Cognac, France. If it's not from France or from that area, then people call it brandy.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a little nicer in the sense, maybe not nicer, but it's different than like single malt Scotch or
Yeah.
Scotch in general. It's usually not as harsh. It's got, I would say, probably has a little sweeter taste. Again, made from grapes.
Yeah. It's tasty.
So I'd like to change it up. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Awesome. And so, speaking of bonsai shows, you are heading to a big one pretty soon.
Yeah. Gonna be going to the 100th anniversary of Kokufu. That's coming up in February in Tokyo, Japan. Yeah, I think it's gonna be great. It also sounds like a lot of people are going. One of my the Pat that came over today to pick up some soil, he said he's joining Bjorn's group
Yeah.
for the tour, and that he said there's 41 people in that group. And apparently in the past, this is what people have told me. In the past, it was usually like 20, but I guess there's just so much demand. Someone
Yeah.
did tell me he had like a wait list of like 300 people or something.
Whoa.
Like everybody, like this was the show to go to, and I think that's true. I think they're gonna, in typical Japanese fashion, they'll bring out kind of the big guns for a special event like this.
Yeah, it's a once in a lifetime kind of deal, right? I mean, we're only going to see 100.
Yeah, right.
show.
Yeah. No, we won't quite be around for the 200th show.
Yeah.
Not even the 150 show, maybe. I don't know. How old would I be if I was I'd be 95.
Maybe.
It was 50 years now. Maybe. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, that's so cool that you're going to the 100th show, though. Yeah. Are you taking a tour, or are you bringing a tour as well?
Yeah. I mean, I'm bringing a number of my clients that most of them actually have never gone to Japan. A few have before, but which is really fun for me. Really, is taking clients that's never been to Japan, never seen Japanese bonsai in person. So it's always fun to see the reaction to the bonsai, and then the reaction to Japanese culture and just the city there, especially Tokyo. It's a pretty impressive city.
How many people in your group?
I think it's like 13 people.
Okay.
but a number of them are spouses. So I don't think we're gonna hang it. Again, it's not so much as a tour. It's more of I just set up this trip where okay, I'm gonna go there. I just set up an itinerary, and if you want to join me, then great. If you want to do your own thing, then that's great. Nobody's tied to anybody, just to keep it easier and fun, and so it's kind of not so much like work,
Yeah.
and everybody understands that that's going, and they like it that way. I like it that way too. But yeah, yeah, we won't. Not everybody will be hanging out together the whole time. Some people they have their side trips. Some people are showing up earlier. Some people are staying later. But I think for the most part, for at least the key bonsai stuff, visiting my teacher, Mr. Tanaka, or going to the first and the second show, even the Suiseki show that is happening. We're going to go to that too.
Ooh, I didn't
Uh,
know there was a Suiseki show. Is that at
yeah,
Kokufu or separate?
yeah, it's in the same museum in a different room, but usually they have a pretty big Suiseki show. It might be the biggest Suiseki show, I think, at the same time. So it's kind of a twofer, which is nice,
Mm,
especially if you like Suiseki.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, one of the interesting things is at that time of year, we're going to go to this too, is the world's biggest orchid show is in Tokyo at the same time. So we're gonna try to. It turns out I just got the dates, and it turns out it's like the first day that we're there,
Oh,
and then they're done. Like that's the end of their show, right?
yeah.
So we have to change our schedule around. But if
And
anybody that's not been to that show, they should see it. It's pretty impressive. It's
yeah,
a million orchids. It's crazy. It's in the Tokyo Dome. It's like
yeah.
it's a baseball stadium, right?
Like an entire baseball stadium
Yeah,
full of
like
orchids.
where the outfield would be in the diamond. It's all right there in the bottom, and that nobody's sitting in the seats, but it's just all orchids. Like any
Yeah,
orchids you'd ever want to see. It's a pretty impressive show. It's a lot of people do attend. It's fun.
that's cool.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of bonsai people also are into orchids. And I see why. I mean, they're cool, they're beautiful, they're
Yeah.
so interesting, so many different
Yeah.
varieties.
Yeah, and they can be pretty technical, right? Yeah, I mean, not so much in the sense, when most people don't wire orchids, though I have some clients that will sometimes put wire on,
Oh,
right, just for fun. Right? Oh,
copper or aluminum?
that's a good question. I think it's just whatever wire that I think usually it's aluminum. Sometimes they'll prop up the flowers and
Yeah,
things like that. But yeah, it's tricky to grow, right? It has to have the right conditions. So there's some challenges there, just very similar to bonsai, right? Just what's the ideal condition for this orchid versus a different orchid, and I mean that's a whole huge field that I don't know that much about at all. So
for sure.
yeah,
Yeah, orchids can go deep, I'm sure,
oh
just
yeah,
like bonsai.
yeah,
Uh, so you're gonna visit Aichien, yeah?
yeah, yeah. I try to make it a point to visit my teacher every time I go to Japan. Uh, Hopefully now that COVID's passed and things are a little bit more all back to normal, I want to get more into the routine of going back to Japan once a year or maybe even twice. I'm thinking of doing like smaller visits when
Mm,
it's not during a big show. Hang out at the nursery, talk to Mr. Tanaka about the what's happening in bonsai, studying a little bit more, always learning what's the
yeah,
latest thing, what's stuff I maybe missed when I was there. There's always something. Right?
yeah. One thing that I really appreciate about you, Peter, is that I feel like you're so open to continuing to learn.
Hmm.
And I think that I have the utmost respect for your technical bonsai skills.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, I think you are the best, one of the best in the world.
Oh, thanks.
But with that said, I feel like everyone can still learn. There's
Oh,
bonsai is infinite knowledge.
absolutely. Yeah. I think what really got me thinking more that way within bonsai is I remember when I was in San Jose, this after my apprenticeship, I was still in San Jose. You assume, okay, you did an apprenticeship, been doing bonsai for so long, you know a lot of stuff, right? And the local Midori club, sometimes what they'll do is they'll pick certain members and they'll try to get the members to talk about a certain topic, regardless if they actually know it or not, right? And the whole point is to get them to kind of study that topic and try to uh, understand it, and then force them to try to teach it, right?
Yeah,
And then they do say that when you teach something, you get better at it too, right?
100%.
So that's the whole thing. It's not always 100% perfect, nor is that the intent. But you would think after doing bonsai for a long time or something, if somebody was new telling you something, you would assume that you'd probably like know what they're going to tell you, right? But time and time again, I found that every time that happened, not just in Midori, but in other events, someone always comes up with an idea or sees something a little different. And it might not be some huge lesson that I get, but it's just a little nugget of information that kind of surprises me. And I would think, you know, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Right. And now it kind of puts me on the path of, it might become nothing. It could be totally a game changer because I got too complicit in what I thought was correct or whatever process I'm going with, right? So, and I found that, yeah, it doesn't even have to be experienced people. It could just be brand new people, and I learned my lesson. I mean, it happened once, and I was like, okay, maybe that's like a fluke. It happens a couple of times, and now it just becomes a fact. It's like there's always something,
Yeah.
right, to learn. Again, it doesn't mean you're learning a whole bunch during the whole lecture, but sometimes those little nuggets are there's gems there. Right, and so paying attention and just thinking about, yeah, how can I do things better is did I miss something, right? That's the key thing. Because I mean, we can't really assume, any of us, that we know everything
Yeah,
about anything, right?
totally.
That's not that's just untrue. That's impossible, right?
Yes.
So you might as well learn because that's just how it is, how it has to be. So,
That's very wise of you, and I feel like you should always be a student of the game, even if you're a professional in something,
yeah, yeah.
and just being open. I appreciate that you are open-minded to continuing to learn, and that's why I've seen your game just continue to elevate, and every time I come and see your trees, they get a little bit better,
Okay.
and I feel like you have new tricks every once in a while, and you're always tinkering with things and tinkering in a good way, like you're experimenting,
Yeah, yeah.
and figuring things out, and then you're learning and your game is being elevated. So I really appreciate that about you. I feel like maybe I've seen some bonsai professionals almost not want to admit that they want to learn more or that they have more to learn. And
Yeah, yeah, and I can understand that, right? Especially when you're running a business, you're trying to make a living doing bonsai. You have to be the person that has the answers to everything. So that I mean, I understand the pressure of that. Uh, so for some people, they may get a sense that they can't show that side because it potentially shows some kind of a weakness. And yeah, it's kind of a slippery subject. It's to be honest about the whole thing. Uh, I mean, generally, I try to answer everything that people ask me, right? Because at the end of the day, I am supposed to know, right? Sometimes, though, I will say that if I don't know, usually I try to find out.
yeah,
I won't lie to people, right?
for sure.
Yeah, yeah. But at some point, you do need to know a lot too, right? You can't just say, "Well, I don't know. I'll find out," and that's the answer to every question. And be like, "Okay, wait a minute, right? What's happening?"
Yeah, yeah,
It might seem a little weird, but I get it. Yeah, it's tough, especially when you're trying to make a living and you just don't want to be the one that's maybe don't know, and then you're worried that people think of you a certain way because of that.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. I get that pressure as well. But
yeah,
I really appreciate when someone has the confidence to say, "Hey, I don't actually know the answer to that question.
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna look into it, or I'm experimenting, or I'm gonna go learn from my mentor."
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because I have found also that if I don't have an answer to a question, either because I've never gotten that question before, sometimes um, I have found that there are ways of finding that answer. As opposed to, it's not like, okay, I go to Google and find the answer. Though I mean, you can find a lot of answers on Google too, right? It's just more of understanding the process, right? You fall back on what you already know, how if you're talking about a bonsai, how they're growing or whatnot. You what I'll do with my clients sometimes is, I don't know the answer to that question, but let's think this through, right? Let's make this an exercise, right? We know that the tree does this, this, and this, and we're seeing this, and that's the question, right? What is the reason for that? Can we kind of think it through, or at least kind of maybe come up with some kind of answer, and then we can maybe then experiment on it or give that a try. And of course, we'll on in the background, we'll still kind of think about it or uh, look through some resources, books or internet or what other professionals might be saying, or any bonsai person might be saying. But uh, I have found that, yeah, if you're always thinking about, okay, how do I get better? How do I fall back on my fundamentals? A lot of times those answers do come. You just got to kind of work
Mm,
through it, right? You
mm.
learn how to problem solve essentially. Uh, which is a big thing I tend to talk with a lot with people is you have a lot of information, right? It's already there. You just got to know how to work with it, right? Manipulate it, use it to your advantage. You already have it.
Yeah.
Don't let it just sit there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Very nice. Well, speaking of gaining knowledge, I know that, or I found it interesting that you were talking about potentially asking Mr. Tanaka a few questions.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Are there any questions you might be willing to share that you're interested in asking him?
Yeah, and and I do need to write some of these down because I questions will pop in my head all the time, and if I don't write it down, then I forget it, and then I remember it again. So I've not gotten a chance to write a lot of this stuff down, but I do need to sit down and do it. But I mean, one of the main things are, I mean, there's a couple of tree questions, not so much to see if he, well, sometimes it's not even to see if he has experience with it. It's some of it is just to kind of get an idea. Okay, well, what's kind of happening with that around, right? What has he heard about it, even if it's something that he doesn't normally do? Uh, some questions on specific trees and how they grow, or is it common for it to do this at a certain season, right? That those kind of things. Just kind of iron out the kind of the small detail stuff, or at least comparing notes. Like this tree is growing this way for me. This is my environment. What are you noticing? Is it similar for you? Maybe he has a little gem. And he's like, oh yeah, that happens all the time. You can do this, and
Yeah.
that could totally solve it, right? And I feel kind of foolish about it because I visited him so many times since my apprenticeship, and because I bring groups and usually we're always kind of in a rush, I never really get a chance to sit down and ask him these things. So it's like a missed opportunity all the time. But I mean, one of the main things is just that I was going to ask him is just to get a feel for what the bonsai scene in Japan is now. Right, I've been gone for a long time. Uh, is it positive? Is it getting better? Is new people coming in? Is it stagnating? What are the current trends in Japan? That kind of stuff. Just kind of seeing what's happening. Again, maybe there's something new that could be interesting that we can look into or experiment with or try. Because those, I mean, changes do happen in Japan. A lot of people don't think that happens, but it does happen. It's just much more subtle.
Yeah.
Right, so you just have to pay attention.
Yeah. It'd be really cool to hear his perspective, a bonsai professional in the mix. I
Yeah.
hear a lot about China
Mm. Yeah.
and people from different countries buying all the stock up and
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's something I wanted to ask him too, how real is that?
Mhm.
Is Japan running out of bonsai? That kinda
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
All we're hearing here is kinda through, uh, not direct from the source sometimes. It's just, somebody in the middle talking about stuff, and
Can be the game of telephone a bit.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The cognac is super good.
Oh,
I like
good,
it.
good. Would you like it? Would you like more?
little.
Okay.
But
Well,
I
this
could have
this one's a
some.
different one. This one's a different
Oh,
one than the
okay.
last one. So we've
They're both cognac, though?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it. I don't even know if I've drank
I think I've
cognac.
given you some before in the past.
Okay. Alright. Very nice.
But yeah, little easier to take than whiskey.
Yeah.
For somebody that doesn't normally drink, I would say yeah, it's a little bit more approachable for sure.
This is very good.
Yeah.
Double cheers? Can we
Oh,
cheers
there
again?
is.
Is that a thing? Do you cheers twice?
I have never done that, so I don't know. I don't see why you can't.
Alright. We're double cheersing tonight.
Yeah, yeah. In Japan, they'll do like come by a bunch of times. So it's
Okay.
kind of yeah.
There we go.
So there we go. Yeah.
Nice. So, we were talking about questions for Mr. Tanaka. So a general perspective on what's going on within the bonsai scene and culture.
Yeah, yeah, and like you hit on one of the questions I was going to ask him is, yeah, well, I hear all of this moving of bonsai out of Japan. Like, it's been a lot more buying from other countries. You know, is the inventory in a way dropping, or is the inventory just as high? Yeah, some of the other things, yeah, related to bonsai is just kind of seeing where ceramics are at, right? I know a lot of kilns have closed.
Mm.
The last time I was there was in November of 23, and I knew that a lot of the Chinese antique pots in Japan, the prices of them were actually declining at that time. So, and then on top of the yen being weak, right, we were getting some incredible deals that 3, 5 years prior was like the prices were so much higher. So I bought a number of pots then. So it'd be interesting to kind of see where that's at too. Is that still the same case? I mean, that's kind of more for business stuff, really. Just kind of getting an idea what things are valued these
Mhm.
days. Uh, so yeah, there's gonna be a little bit of that. Uh, yeah, you know, one thing I'd like to ask him is because his kids are getting a little bit older now. One thing I'd like to have him do is actually come out to the US again. Like he came out in 2017,
That's
maybe.
right. Totally forgot. You guys went to the Bristlecone Pines, right?
Oh,
Or no, no, that was with Juan.
yeah, yeah. Juan was here when he came. I can't quite remember because he wasn't here very long. Yeah, it's a while ago. I can't remember where I took him,
That was
but
quite a while ago. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I could have sworn I saw a picture of Mr. Tanaka at the Bristlecone Pines, but I could be tripping.
Yeah, I may have taken them to the Sierras, which
Okay,
is
maybe.
only like an hour and a half from here to see some big junipers. I think
Yeah.
maybe
Okay,
that's what it was.
that's probably what it was.
Just because the Brisket home would be like a 3-day thing, and which is kind of funny because when I was talking to him on the phone before he came out, he said he wanted to go to Oregon and see some of the bonsai people there, and he was here for such a limited time. And I said, going to Oregon, that's like a 12-hour drive.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
not like next door, right? You know,
Uh-huh.
which a lot of people mistaken when they come to the U.S.
Yeah,
They don't think it's as big as it is.
yeah. That
So
that's funny.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I had just set up my garden, so it was very new, and he came and took a look. But yeah, now that his kids are getting a little older, I'm hoping that he would be able to get away from Japan and come out here and kind of see bonsai here, talk with people. He may just want to come out and just kind of do a little vacation thing. But you know, it'd be great if we got him to do something.
Yeah,
If anything, like a critique of something, just to kind of get his perspective on things. Because I mean, I learned a ton from him. So, uh,
absolutely.
and I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff that I didn't learn from him too. So, any chance would be great.
Definitely, definitely. So cool. One thing we were talking about earlier is, and I don't know if you wanna mention this or not, but we were talking about, Shimpaku at the Kokufu.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. That was a question I was going to ask Mr. Tanaka. I was like we were talking about yesterday. I was looking at just trying to study Japanese aesthetics a little bit more, and or at least get a better understanding of it. And I was talking to some people about different types of trees, and generally, the aesthetic, the what the Japanese kind of what are they looking for when they look at a bonsai when they decide that it's of quality, right? It's high quality or low quality or everything in between. And just kind of by accident, I'm looking through Kokufu books, and I'm kind of noticing, and I could be totally wrong, right? I haven't looked into it super deep yet, but I started noticing that there are more common trees that win, like Kokufu, for example. But I also see that there are trees like, and maybe it's partly because of where we're at here and we're around junipers a lot because we collect them here, that I notice not that many junipers win Kokufu. They do, but it's not kind of the norm in a way. Like it usually tends to be like sometimes you get kind of different trees, but it's always tends to be like a black pine, a white pine, again, a sprinkle of junipers here and there. And, instead of thinking about it like, hopefully it's not, well, I'm pretty sure it's not this, but instead of thinking of it as, well, maybe they just don't dislike junipers or something, or dislike whatever species that don't seem to always win, I'm thinking more of, well, what is it about it that they're not attracted to? Right? Which again will just help me understand their aesthetic preferences, right? Some trees might not fall into that category or show something that they tend to like, and that's just the nature of that tree, right? And that's just how it is. So that was kind of what I was looking for. So I'm kind of interested in seeing what Mr. Tanaka's take on that uh, because it could be something that is it could be very surprising. Currently, my hypothesis on this, right? Again, I could be totally wrong, and I'm okay with that, right? I'm finding out. I'm not making any statements, right?
Yeah.
Is that it does seem like in Japanese bonsai or bonsai in Japan, one of the key things is that they like to see in a tree is just super great age, right? So I was kind of went with that. And you think about a juniper, and you're like, well, junipers are super old, right? They're collected. They could be thousands of years old, right? Whereas a black pine, it could be 300 years old, but it's not 1,000 years old,
Yeah.
right? So why is the black pine winning, right? How come you know I thought the age was a important
Hmm.
thing, and so I started thinking, well, maybe there's more to it than that. There has to be something more to it. Why is it not? Because it just seems like they're always talking about, well, this tree is really old, right? And what I'm starting to think is that it's not so much as how old the tree is. It really comes down to how old the tree is as bonsai.
Mm.
And so there is a human element that's part of it. Uh, it's not just, oh, this tree is just old. There seems to be some kind of reference to the people also. And I do wonder, and here's the hypothesis, is that when you have 100-year-old bonsai that's a black pine, do they weigh that more? And when they say it's old, they don't just say, well, the tree is just physically old, but it's old in relation to being around human beings, right? The interaction between the two. Whereas a juniper is collected maybe 20 years ago, and it's been worked on and it looks great. It's not like they look terrible, but maybe it's lacking that connection, and that's why maybe it's not seen as great.
Yeah.
That's my current
It-
hypothesis on that. So it'd be interesting to see what is taken, and then continuing to study that and wonder in a way, uh, what's kind of that key thing that it it doesn't necessarily mean any of this is correct or incorrect, but just understanding is the point, right? Where are they coming from? What am I maybe not seeing, right?
yeah.
What key things maybe I'm missing out on that could be important that maybe I want to integrate into my bonsai, right? Because I always thought, well, as long as it's like old and I make it look old, that seems like that's great. And I think for the most part, you're going to be successful if you go with that attitude. But am I missing something?
Mm.
And we know that in Japanese cultures or a lot of Eastern thinking, things tend to be very subtle. So again, you have to really pay attention. It's not in your face at all,
Yeah.
and you can totally miss it if you're, especially coming from Western culture.
Hmm.
Like us both, right? We grew up in the U.S. and well, we were born in the U.S. and grew up here. We are Westerners, right? We might look Asian, but we're not Easterners. We're Westerners with all the philosophies that come with that.
For sure. Well, you got to write that question down because I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
want you
right.
to forget it. I want you to
You're
ask Mr. Tanaka, and then I want to record another episode with you, and you
Oh,
can
after
give us
okay.
Mr. Tanaka's
Yeah,
perspective.
yeah. No, I will do that. I will
Yeah,
do that.
that's very interesting. I kind of wondered if it might just be because there's not that many high quality Yamadori junipers in Japan.
I mean, when I was there, I saw some amazing ones.
Really? Okay.
I
I
mean,
mean,
there are some really amazing ones. Oh,
I definitely know some ones that just blow my world. I mean, like
yeah.
a couple of my favorite trees, all-time trees, are junipers in Japan, like
Mm.
Kimura's dragon tree. I forget the
Yeah,
exact name.
yeah.
And then the god of wind tree. You
Yeah,
know that
yeah, that's probably one of my favorite trees,
that thing
right?
is so legit.
Especially favorite juniper for sure. That's an amazing tree.
Yes.
And surprisingly giant tree too. That
Yeah,
is not a small tree. Whatever you think the size is, if
it's big.
for anybody that knows what we're talking. Actually, if you look up God of Wind bonsai, you'll probably find a photo of it. Uh, it's way bigger than you think. It looks big, but it is so much bigger when you see it in person. I was pretty lucky I was able to see it in person because we
Ah,
visited the garden where it was at.
yeah, that's so
Uh,
cool. Yeah,
But, I mean, part of it could be like, going back to why black pines or white pines might win. I mean, black pines are so integrated in Japanese culture that there's probably gonna be a bias towards black pines, right? That's so much in their history.
for sure. For sure.
It's we don't understand that because we don't have that connection with white pines, but there are other trees that we do connect with more,
Yeah,
right? So we can kind of see it that way.
totally. Totally. Very cool. Very cool. Well, any other questions you're thinking about with Mr. Tanaka? If not,
Off the
that's
top of my
wonderful.
head, I don't remember. It probably again it'll pop up. That's why I gotta
Yeah,
write this stuff down, right?
we gotta get you to write them.
Yeah.
I'm writing them down right now.
Yeah, yeah. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Don't
Yeah,
let me forget.
awesome. Well, that's so cool, and what an experience you're about to have. I am jealous. I'm not going this year, and I should be. It's the Kokufu 100, but, I'm sure it will be just so
Yeah,
spectacular.
I know Mr. Tanaka has a copy of the first Kokufu book also. So I got to remind myself to ask him. I've seen it when I was there, and it's just a small booklet, and it's all in black and white. But I
Yeah.
think a lot of my clients, a lot of my friends that are going with me, they would love to see that copy.
Oh,
Right?
that's
It'd
cool.
be really cool to see the first one
Yeah.
versus the 100th.
I wonder what that's worth.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I'd love to buy it. I'd never see one for sale.
Yeah,
I would buy it in a heartbeat, right?
probably super rare and
I would assume so.
yeah.
I would assume so.
Hmm, interesting. Alright. Well, so changing gears here a bit,
Yeah.
I'm hoping to pick your brain about deciduous trees. That's kind of
Okay.
like one of the main, subjects that I wanted to hit on for this podcast. However, before we get into that, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about collecting bonsai.
Mm.
I guess recently I went through an exercise. I've never done this before, but what I did was I looked at all my bonsai trees in pots,
Yeah.
in bonsai pots. So my actual trees that I consider like bonsai trees, not just stuff that I'm growing from seed cutting air layer
Yeah.
or recently collected.
Okay.
And I ranked them. And I found out, well, first off, I never even, well, I'm always, the number of trees that I have is always changing,
Yeah.
but it's roughly anywhere from about 15 to 22 trees.
Okay.
I'm currently at 18 trees.
Oh.
I have a bunch of other stuff that I'm growing, right?
Okay.
And some newly collected trees. that I'm not counting, but anything
Okay.
in an actual bonsai pot, I have 18 trees right now,
Okay.
and I ranked them
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, like
Yeah.
1 through 18.
Mm.
But what I had trouble with is figuring out what am I specifically ranking these by, or how am I how am I figuring out the metrics to rank these trees by?
Yeah.
And so that got tricky because my trees are all in all different stages. So some of them are showable.
Mhm.
Some of them are 5 years away from show. Some are 10. Some are 12. And there's just this range. So I didn't know if I should just say, okay, what are my best potential trees? Or what are my best trees in 10 years from now? Or what are just the best trunks or the best I don't know. Like basically I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
tried to rank them and I don't know how to think about that.
Mm.
I guess I was curious if you have any thoughts and how you maybe recommend to your clients.
Uh, yeah, I mean, it's kind of a multifaceted thing, right? Uh, trying to rank your tree, and this is all in the purpose of getting a better understanding of which are your higher quality trees, and potentially what are your lower quality trees where you might want to change out, right? And that's the assumption that your goal is to just have the best collection you can have, right? You're kind of calling out the collection from time to time, getting better and better trees. And generally the best collections do that, right? They don't keep the not so good trees for long, right? They're looking for better material. It doesn't even have to be finished, right? It's just the material itself has more potential than another tree. Uh, not to say that you should just quit on projects too quickly, because sometimes there's potential there that you're not seeing yet, or you're not experiencing seeing, and it really is there. So doing it yourself sometimes is tough, right? Sometimes it's helpful if you have somebody experienced helping you with that too. Which I do with a number of my clients. Sometimes, we all have kind of biases, right? It could be your first tree, right? So you're gonna want to hang on to that more. Whereas for me, I'd be like, okay, you got to move on with this, right?
Hmm.
And maybe it doesn't have the potential, but you still think of it. Well, it's my first tree, I don't want to, which is okay, also, right? So at the end of the day, you got to think about, well, what is it that you're really trying to do? Um, so if your goal is to say have the best collection you can have, if that is your goal, usually I'll ask a few questions, right? Okay, and one of the things that you're talking about is, right now you have 18 trees. What is the ideal number for you to have? Um, I usually tell people that if they're working, they're not retired, they're working, 25 trees. Usually that's what I tell people. If they're working, 25 trees. If you're looking for the best material possible, you want the best collection. Um, and as a side note, right? However big all of our collections are, I mean, and it always happens, right? Even for me, you get way too many trees, and at some point you're like, okay, I have to get rid of some, right? And that number could be 50, it could be 1,000, right? At some point, we were like, okay, uh, what one thing you can do is, for sure, for the folks out there that maybe are unsure that they have too many trees, or maybe they already know that they have too many trees, is generally my kind of gauge of that is that if you ever walk by your tree and you just say, I can't get to this tree this time for whatever work that needs to be done this time, you have too many trees,
That's a great gauge.
right? Because if you have really good trees, there's no such thing as I can't get to it to this time. I have to skip it this
Hmm.
season for whatever you normally do this season for. Because once you skip it, the tree will stagnate, and it usually, well, it doesn't even stagnate. It actually declines in quality because the tree is always growing, right? So it's either getting better or it's actually getting worse. It's never like okay the same. It may kind of look the same, but it's not the same. It's declining, right? It's not getting better. So I would say, if you run into the instant where it's like, oh man, I got to do this, maybe you're not that interested in that tree anymore,
Yeah.
right? If it seems like a chore now. Um, and I have found that when people start to downsize their collection, they end up really enjoying bonsai a little bit more because it's not so much of a chore. They don't feel like they're always like, oh, I'm always trying to play catch up. I
Yeah.
can't keep up with my trees. So now you're stressed out, which is the opposite of what usually a hobby is, right? You're supposed
Mhm.
to have fun doing it, but now you're stressing out because you're like, oh, I can't repot all these trees on time, right? I need to do it, but I just can't. Got family, work, all that stuff, um, and that's why I say 25. It's not some random number pops up. It just seems like that seems to be the number that at least people can kind of manage.
Yeah.
Um,
And then it's plus or minus from there deter with there's a million factors that lead to
yeah,
the
yeah,
size of the tree,
absolutely,
how
absolutely.
much someone's working, their other obligations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, if you have a set schedule where you can work on those trees, even if you are working, then yeah, can you have more than 25? Absolutely. So yeah, maybe even say that number 25 is not even the number. It's just, are you able to finish everything you need to do, right?
For
And not
sure.
be super stressed out about it.
That seems
It's
like the best gauge right
yeah,
there.
yeah, and then you find your number. And I know people in the past, once they find their number, whatever that number, let's just say it's 50, stick with that number, right? If you decide you see something at an auction, somebody selling something, you ask yourself, okay, you like that tree, you want that tree. You have to just ask yourself, will that tree make my collection better? Right. And if I do buy this tree, what tree leaves? So now you don't accidentally, well, okay, I'll have 51.
Yeah.
Before long it's 70, right? It's like,
Yeah.
well, I was supposed to have 50 and now it's 90, right? It happens fast.
For sure.
I think everybody can understand that. It's happened to all of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
You know,
So,
I really like the idea of having someone that you trust in bonsai, ideally like your teacher or a bonsai professional coming through and actually ranking your trees and then
yeah,
saying, "Hey, I think you should cut these,"
yeah.
because even though that professional will have biases, they're going to be different than your biases.
Mhm.
And so I do think that's a great way to go about it.
Yeah.
And I would like for you to do that to my collection at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, yeah, I've had a number of clients, ask me to do that, and, they don't always take my advice 100%, which I understand, there are sometimes people who keep trees for other reasons, right? Sentimental value, stuff like that. I get it. Uh, but yeah, it definitely helps when you just get kinda outside eyes kinda looking in and saying, "Okay, you should pass on these and you should focus on these trees," right? So so once we come up with, say, this number, right? Now, so how do we decide what's the ideal one? Because if we're gonna at some point maybe replace something, we do want to know. Well, we don't want to replace our best tree by accident, right? And so part of it is always for sure, studying bonsai and thinking about what is it about this particular tree that I like, what are these qualities that I like, or I should keep working with. What are some of the qualities that are maybe not as ideal, right? So yeah, I mean there's so many variables. Right?
Yeah.
um, some of the things I would think about is how old the tree is, how what the size of the tree is. The size is more straightforward in the sense of what is it that the client want, what size are they willing to work with, right? Or they're comfortable working with. Usually when people are learning how to do bonsai or trying to get better at bonsai, having larger trees is a bit better for that. Um, Not to say that having larger trees is easier, but it allows you to make some mistakes along the way without penalizing you.
It's interesting you say that because I feel like a lot of beginners do the opposite of that.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
go with really small stuff.
Yeah, and that's why they have such a hard time getting better at bonsai sometimes. Well, not sometimes, it's a fact. A lot of people have a hard time getting it better at bonsai because they're working with material that requires such specific growing
For
conditions and
sure.
patterns
Yeah.
and working on it just the right time. Like you can't just mess around with a shohin and think it'll get better.
Mm.
You have to be so much more precise on those trees and have a real good understanding of how to grow a tree at a certain rate. You get a giant tree, you don't need like a 4 foot tall tree either, right? But if your candle is half an inch longer than you like, when the tree is 2 feet tall, it doesn't matter that much, right? You can absorb that. If it's 8 inches tall and your candle is half an inch too big, it's like game over. This tree's now too big. If
Yeah.
it's 8 inches, now it's 8.5 inches,
Yeah.
right? And that's on the top, right? If it's on the left and right, now it's an inch bigger overall, right? So,
That's really interesting. I feel like it's a little bit counterintuitive for the new individual to bonsai.
yeah,
They think smaller tree, easier to work with, it's gonna be easier for my lifestyle,
yeah.
but it's actually more challenging in many ways.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a part of it could be that smaller trees sometimes when you're new, they're just it's cheaper too.
That's 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Instead of like a big trunk thing or some big thing, people tend to just ask for more money. And when you're new, you're like, do I spend $50 or that big tree is $300? Well, I mean, I can digest $50, but then yeah, that $50 you really pay for that because you don't really get better sometimes.
Yeah.
So what are you really saving? But nobody's there to tell them that really. So they just see it $50, $300. Well, I don't want to kill something that's $300. I'm going to go with the 50, right? But yeah, you're right. It's very counterintuitive, and I find that once people get into a little bit larger trees, so I say that's part of just thinking about the collection too, right? If you want better collection, if you don't have a ton of time to like nitpick like a little tree all the time, like because your schedule is busy, you definitely don't want little trees. You have to water them more too, right? If you can't do that, right? Uh, just don't bother. Just go with something that's bigger. So that's the kind of the size factor stuff. Now, other reasons for the size is bigger trees. A lot of times they're just more impressive looking, right? It's hard. You can't really deny that, regardless if you like that is heavy or not, or it's a pain to move around. When you see a big tree next to a small tree, you just tend to gravitate towards the big tree. Um, so sometimes people are looking more for that. They just want to look in their garden and be like, "Wow, look at these. These are great." You just don't get the same effect when the tree is only 8 inches. Now, I mean, that's not how everybody feels, of course. Right? There are showing people out there, or people who love small trees and they don't care about the big one. I get it. Uh, so, so I would think of so going back to just kind of yeah, how would you rate your own tree? I would go by age. If you were just looking at pure quality, no sentimental values, all that stuff, I would look at the quality of, I mean, the age of the material. How old is it? Does it have, usually I try to keep the older trees, older as in it's been a bonsai for a long time, and then combination that the tree is actually just physically old, right? That's one of my key things I look for. Um, Of course, you can get into all this structural stuff like, okay, does it have all of the characteristics of what I like in bonsai, right? And I have to be careful when I say that because so this is where it can split off to like a million different directions. It's like, what kind of bonsai do you like? What kind of style do you like? And then everything changes, right? Uh, for me, I tend to look at, okay, the tree is old. It has uh, some abstract, but also naturalistic characteristics. I mean, it still looks like a tree, a miniature version of a tree. There could be some abstract elements, but naturalistic styles of like taper change, things like that are important. Especially if we talk about deciduous trees, it just seems more important for those types of trees as opposed to like a juniper. Uh, then I'll apply things like rarity of material. Uh, Based on our area, based on just in general too, right? A Chinese elm is just more abundant than a Korean hornbeam. And if they're both the same age, they both have nice trunks, right? Equally nice trunks. you just got to go with the Korean hornbeam because those are just harder to get, right? Uh, if you had to choose, right? So rarity, right? Material that's not common, or uh, yeah, you don't see very much, or it's just hard to get. Hopefully, it's not material that doesn't grow in your area. That's why it's hard to get, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to do that.
I feel like
Um,
that's a big factor in trees you should keep and not keep.
oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, we don't want to forget that. Yeah, try to grow trees that grow well for you, not a struggle, right? Some people will take on that challenge, right? And that's fine. That's fine. But just be aware of it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
don't get
an uphill
a
battle.
yeah, don't get a tree that won't grow in your environment very well.
Yeah, I
Or
think that's like I mean, that is if that's the number one factor in whether I have that species and
right.
variety in my garden or not. Like, I want
Yeah.
things that grow well. I don't wanna
Uh,
mess around with stuff that doesn't.
yeah, and yeah, I probably should have started with that, right? And that just tells you that I just assumed that, right? But
For sure,
we can't
for sure.
assume that, especially if somebody is just starting their collection. Yeah, don't start growing a bunch of Japanese maple if your water quality is bad, right? Until you fix that. Um, And, yeah, and sometimes when I sell trees to clients, I'll ask them questions like that too. Can they even grow it, right? Regardless of how great the tree is, or potentially how much money I could make, right? I mean, I can't sell a tree to somebody that's just gonna kill it, right? It sucks for everybody, especially the tree, right? Right? They're not happy, the tree's not
Tree's
doing
not
well,
happy.
it's not like they don't call me and say, "Hey, Peter, what the hell?"
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So yeah, it should probably grow for them. So I do tend to have questions, especially on the deciduous side. Talking about deciduous trees is good water is definitely a key thing. Don't even bother if you have bad water.
Yeah,
There are some deciduous trees like Chinese elms that can handle bad water.
uh-huh.
Korean hornbeams can kind of handle bad water. Actually,
Oh,
it turns out it's
okay.
not like they love it,
Yeah,
but they can handle it.
okay.
And no tree really likes bad water. It's
Yeah.
just different trees can handle it better.
I feel like, in the US, this is a little tangential, but I feel like one of the biggest things that we can do, and not everybody, because you have great water here in Auburn, for example, but
Yeah.
most people don't have great water. They have
Yeah. Yeah.
really hard water. And
Yeah.
so I feel like we should use RO systems a lot more frequently,
Yeah. Yeah.
or some type of system to filter out your water.
Yeah, or at least just address the hardness, right?
Definitely.
I mean, there are situations where it's not the hardness itself; it's some other things, but those tend to be more kind of smaller percentages of things people have to deal with. Like in Davis, they had an issue with high boron levels in their water,
Oh,
and that was the problem. It
yikes.
wasn't even that it was just hard; it was
Yeah.
had boron.
Oh,
I mean, they were telling pregnant women to not drink the tap water,
oh,
right? That's how
jeez.
bad. They fixed it since. It's
Yeah.
way better now,
Okay.
but it is still semi-hard, so it does need to be, yeah, reverse osmosis seems to be the best. Essentially, you're just removing all the hardness, and when we talk about hardness, generally it's calcium in the water. For people like me here in Auburn, where a lot of the water we get is from surface water, like from snow melt. There's no chance really for the water to pick up a lot of minerals. For people who live in areas where a lot of the water comes from the ground, it can be it can be very hard. Uh, to the point where it's very common, like people in Fresno, it's very common for households to have water softeners, right? So they mix salt in there and it binds with the calcium, I think, and so it doesn't stick. It's still there, right? The problem is if you water the tree with that, now you're watering your tree with salt water too.
Mm.
That's the problem. So that doesn't really work. That doesn't work either. I know people have had some success using potassium base water softeners, but it's probably just still not ideal. I do know people who have water with that and their trees were okay.
Yeah.
It's not like they were dying or anything. But I do wonder, they're okay. They're growing, but are we missing out on kind of their true potential because it's still a little bit of an issue, right?
Yeah.
Like, well, again, how far do you want to push your bonsai?
Yeah.
If you want your trees to be super refined, everything has to be perfect. It can't be good enough, right? good enough means your tree is good enough. It's not great, right?
Yeah.
So,
That's a great
yeah,
I love that
so
quote.
yeah.
That's a good Peter G
Oh,
quote right
okay,
there.
yeah. I mean, I heard it from somewhere, so it's probably not it's not just something I came up with for sure.
Take
Um,
credit.
yeah, just take it. Just take it.
We'll make a shirt.
So, um, yeah, so those are kind of the things I would think of is, age,
Okay.
just age itself, age as bonsai. Does it have some and this is I am glossing through this, right? Which is, okay, does it have kind of the characteristics, uh, of high level bonsai or what I think of as high level bonsai? Does it have those characteristics, and can we just keep going? I do tend to, and then the last thing is maybe rarity, right? Is it something that's harder to find? Maybe you should hang on to those. You can't just get another one, um, if you get rid of something, right? So those are some factors, which is interesting because sometimes you may end up keeping a Korean hornbeam that's maybe quality wise not as good as your Chinese elm, and it's like a showstopper. People like how the Chinese elm looks, and you have to decide which
Mm.
one to get rid of.
Yeah,
That gets tricky.
that does.
That gets really tricky,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because you have a tree that's looking really good, and you have a
Mhm.
tree that's maybe not looking as good, but it's harder to get.
Uh-huh.
That gets really tough, right? I guess the answer really is, well, if you think you can get the Korean hornbeam to be like really showable, or you feel is at the level that you want, that will then exceed the elm, then maybe you decide to go with it, right? Uh, but if your goal is, say, you know, I don't want to, it's going to take me 30 years to develop this Korean hornbeam before it's looking good, that I feel good about putting it in a show. And my Chinese elm is looking just great now,
Yeah.
and I'm happy about that, and I can show it now. Okay, now it changes, right? It's a time factor. Okay, maybe that's another factor that we got to think about. Well, how long is it going to take to develop this thing? Right?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's rare. Yeah, it's old, but before it ever gets really good, you might be dead.
Yeah.
People will say enjoy the journey, which is true.
Uh-huh.
Enjoy the development of bonsai, but hey, sometimes you want to see a project through. I totally understand. Right? I want to see projects through. There's plenty of trees that I know that I might not see the end of it, right? Because I've passed away, right? Trees, it's going to take too long. Uh, but I want to see something too.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, I have a lot of patience in bonsai, but I don't have like infinite patience
for
either,
sure,
right?
for
I'm,
sure.
I'm, I'm not 100% all the way on that end.
Yeah. Well, what I found in grading my collection, it is really hard. That time element was the hardest for me, maybe, because maybe you have a trunk that, let's say you have 2 Chinese quints.
Mm,
One of the trunks is like a 7 with no ramification, and the other one is a 4 with perfect ramification.
yeah, yeah.
Which one do you pick?
Yeah, which one do you pick if you have
You
to
know?
pick one or
Uh,
the other?
yeah,
Yeah,
like one is
yeah.
the 4 is perfectly developed, it's show ready, you can show it.
Uh-huh,
The next one is gonna take you 15,
yeah.
10 to 15 years before it's, like, pretty showable.
Mhm, mhm,
That's those get those
mm.
questions I tend to to wanna take the 7 and say, "Let's get rid of the 4."
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's tough.
But I think generally, for you, we're not that old. We're not that young, but we're not that old either.
Yeah,
Uh, that if we feel that the project is gonna take 15, maybe even 20 years, that's something we can potentially see, right? And we say it's worthwhile. If, uh if we looked at the tree, it says, "Yeah, it's gonna take 50 years," that changes a lot of stuff. That's interesting thinking about that now, because I do talk with a number of my clients are older, and that is a big factor,
yeah,
when we're thinking about what trees they should get. I mean, a number of them will be like, "Peter, should I buy this tree?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, it's nice." And it's like, "How long is it gonna take to develop? Am I gonna see it in my
yeah,
lifetime, right?"
yeah,
And I'm like, "No." And
yeah,
they're like, "Okay, it sounds like a pass for
yeah.
me." And that's just,
So,
they're good about that.
I feel like a big part of this is like your time horizon in
Yeah.
terms of how showable or how, developed you want this tree. And then also, do you just appreciate the process or do you want like showable stuff?
Yeah, I think inevitably it's gonna be there's gonna be people on both ends and everybody in between. I feel like you should have some trees that are show ready now. You have an idea of what kind of that finish tree is, or a goal that you see that in your garden, surrounded by say trees that have not reached that goal yet. It's kind of nice to see the end a little bit. uh, that there's people who want to see everything at the end. They say that's what I want to see. I'm not interested in seeing this half developed tree.
Yeah.
And then there's people who just love seeing trees in development. I mean, I'm somewhere kind of in the middle. I want to see the finished tree, but I love seeing deciduous trees where the main branch is being grown and it's 8 feet long. Right? You're seeing the process. Oh, we are we're creating the next batch of really good trees. Hopefully, some of them will be great,
Yeah.
right? Uh, because the trees that are ready now, maybe I had a small part in it, maybe I had a big part in it, I don't know. But most of the time, it's okay. You're kind of you're kind of continuing what someone might have started already, right? Uh, so so I'm kind of in the middle where I try to have a combination of the two. But again, that's just a personal thing, right?
Yeah.
Some people they just love looking at their collection. I mean, I have clients that love looking at their collection. They're not even that interested in working on the tree. But they love it.
Yeah.
They just love looking at the tree.
It's like going to a bonsai show every day, but it's at your house.
And yeah, exactly. And you're just like, wow.
Yeah. And I get that.
Um,
I get both
but
ends.
and that's actually a newish thing. I found for me that I discovered this year, maybe a little bit, well, last year really, is that thinking about quality of trees, a different way or a no, whole nother level of thinking about quality is that, yeah, there's going to be a lot of trees that we go through that will be really nice. And there's going to only be a handful that are going to be great. And it's just like in other art forms. There are trees that are really good. I mean, really, really good. But when you see the great trees, you can always look at it. And the really, really good ones, you walk by it still. You're like, okay, I see it. It's nice. But you never get tired of seeing the great ones. Like you can look at it all day, every day, right? So interestingly enough, that's kind of a new gauge that I'm thinking about, especially when my clients ask me, "Do you think this is a worthwhile tree?" Because some trees, even though say they're not developed, they have the material itself is good enough that it could potentially be a great tree.
Yeah.
And that kind of again, that then changes. Yeah, it might take 15 years, but it's gonna be great. It's gonna be that tree that you can look at every day and just love it.
Yeah.
Or is it gonna be the tree in your yard that you walk by every day that you just
Yeah.
water and you just kind of walk by? You don't think twice about it, right? For people who have paintings in their house, that was the same thing, right? You can put paintings all over your house. You walk by, after a while, you forget they're even on the wall. But the really great ones, you always notice.
Mm.
Right. So again, that's just kind of modifies, well, if you're trying to have a really great collection,
Hmm.
do you have trees that fit that kind of this new category, let's say,
Yeah.
right? Of yeah, if I looked at this tree every day and I think it's great, that means something. Or is this something that's just kind of passed by? Right. Again, if your goal is to have just the best collection you can have and you want to have that feeling all the time of, wow, I'm just looking at awesome stuff, um, that can make you kind of then change how you gauge things.
Yeah.
And a real easy way to do that is you walk in your garden, just don't look at anything, walk in your garden, just look down, walk in your garden, look up. What are the trees you see first? Right. Those are your great trees. And the ones you see second or third, those not so great. right? That might generally give you maybe great tier, a okay, and then maybe, oh yeah, I have that tree. I forgot.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, those are the ones you should probably move, right? Maybe regardless of whatever they are, right?
Yeah.
Now again, that changes, right? If as you learn more about bonsai, because maybe now you notice something because
Mhm.
you just didn't know something about it, right? So,
Do you use a numeric system in your mind? Like, for whatever reason in my life, I rate everything on a 1 to 10 scale.
mm,
So freaking Jonas's 5-point scale, like,
yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
messes with me. 'Cause
Yeah.
'cause I'm like, "Okay, how do I feel today on a 1 to 10 scale?"
Yeah,
Like,
I see.
I'm
I
I'm
see.
a 8 today.
Yeah.
Everything how is it where do I rate this tree? It's a 1 to 10 scale, and then
Yeah.
Jonas only gives me 5 points, and I have no idea what to do with those 5 points.
I guess you can always be like 4.5 or something.
But you can't do that
You
on
can't do that. Yeah, yeah. It has to be whole numbers.
Jonas and Eric and,
Yeah, yeah,
Andrew, come on,
yeah.
guys. No, I'm just joking. Uh, is I don't know. Maybe
No, that's true. It's tricky. I mean, there's all sorts of mathematical stuff that I'm not good at, right? That goes into thinking about things that way. I do always wonder that if when it's 1 through 10, how people view that, right?
Uh-huh.
And how they view 1 through 10. Uh, because we've all gone to school, some form of school, right? Elementary school, middle school, high school, college, and when you get grades, it's always in the 55 to 10 range, right? You either get an A, B, C, D, F, right? Everything, I think was it, yeah, everything below 60 is an F all the way to 0, right? Isn't that pretty much the case?
I think so. Is 60 a D?
60 is a D. I think
60
D minus if you want to get.
50 is a F, right?
I think
And then
anything in the
50
50 is F, and then below that is still an F.
yeah.
There's no like G.
Yeah.
So I always wonder especially like in the expo when people are grading it, right? The way I see it is, okay, the tree got in, so it automatically gets a 1 because the tree did get in. It beat out other people. I mean, not other people, other trees that wanted to get in but didn't. So
Mhm.
you automatically. So that's where I kind of started, right, from 1, and then it goes up from there. But I do wonder when people grade a tree, they fall back onto what they know in school, which is now they're grading from 3, 4, and 5 because 5 is an A, 4 is like a B minus C plus, and then or maybe a 3 is more like a C,
Yeah.
and then 4 is a
Or is it
B, and then a 5 is an A kind of thing, right? And then anything lower, they just feel like, well, I'm just failing this tree,
yeah.
right? It's like, well, no, there's like a whole bunch of numbers there,
Uh-huh,
right? There's
uh-huh.
1 and 2,
Yeah.
and they're meaningless now,
Yeah, I
right?
do feel bad using 1 and 2 for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
everybody does that, unless you think of it as, you get a 1 automatically because the tree's in. It's good enough that I got into the show. That's great. Okay, and then now we get to use the whole scale,
Mhm.
right? So that's one of the things that I always worry about are people looking at it, and a number of people I work with, they said, yeah, I grade things with 3, 4, and 5. I can't give it a 2 or 1 because I feel like I'm saying it's bad,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
it's like, no, you're not saying it's bad. It's like it's already great because it got into the
Mhm.
show. This is one of the good trees, right?
Yeah.
It's just okay but in the whole room, is it a tree that just got into the show, or is it the tree that wins the show, or is the greatest tree,
Yeah.
right? That kind of thing. That's the
Yeah,
scale.
I get it logically, but I'm still
But
stuck
still, right?
with
Yeah,
10. I need the 10,
you need
at least,
yeah.
at least. Like, we could do 100
Well,
points
well,
or we could do 10, but I'm good.
okay,
I can't do
you
anymore.
can do okay.
That's good stuff, though.
Oh,
It's
good, good.
seriously good.
So,
Is this pricey stuff?
no, no, this is I can't remember what it costs, but it's not super expensive.
Okay.
Yeah. It, this bottle is
Do
going.
gangstas drink cognac? I feel like it feels gangsta.
I think in some rap videos, yeah, they'll
Yeah?
like hold cognac and stuff
Okay,
like that.
nice. I'm feeling
Uh,
gangster right
you're
now.
feeling gangster.
Yeah.
I think this is a liter. This bottle. I think this 1 liter, I think it's a liter.
Uh-huh.
This 1 liter bottle is like $60.
Okay.
People out there are like, what are you drinking? It is Remy Martin 1738, Accord Royale.
That sounds gangsta.
It does sound, yeah, exactly. It's old. It's not actually from 17. That's just what it's called.
Yeah.
But yeah, very, very good. Very good.
Nice.
I think Costco even sells it too.
Nice.
It is.
I think I'm gonna go use the restroom really quick. If that's okay. I'm just gonna take this off for a second.
You don't want to record the bathroom sounds.
Where did you get this?
Oh yeah, I can't remember where I got it exactly. It's from different places. Yeah, the top one has really good. Yeah, it's like very much. But